everyone, welcome back to card making class projects, and we're in the month of September, so we're starting back up classes. I hope you all had a great summer. And these cards that we were going to do in September are featuring the crisp air paper from the current July-September book. And if you haven't seen the paper pack, this is the paper pack. Super pretty colors. Just love the fall colors. So we're gonna deal with a lot of these colors. And if you want to see more about this current catalog, I will post the link below so you can look them up and see the different possibilities. Now this one here is partially, some of them is like in the card workshop kit that we have. And let me find my little sheet. So in the catalog, if you're familiar with our catalogs, we usually introduce you to the paper pack first, then the embellishments, the cardstock, Picture My Life card. This is a digital collection. And then we have some matching stamp sets. Then we have a scrapbooking workshop where you make two double page layouts, and you make 3 of them, not 2. So 3 double page layouts. This one I will feature on a different video because I already have been working on it. And this is the card making kit. So these are the 4 cards you can make with this kit. Included is your stamp set, dies, all the paper you need, envelopes, and card bases to make 4 of each design. And we kind of will kind of like copy some of these. So you see, this is the intended card we're making right here. I tweaked mine up a little bit because as you always know, I like to do my own thing, but also in card class I always have to see time wise what we can do. Plus sometimes I don't use all the embellishments and everything that's in here because I have to cut them. And if you are watching this for the first time, so measurements, I will mention some of the measurements while we go along. If you need the complete measurements and instructions, please contact me and I'll be happy to hand them out to you. I also will have a special little tips and tricks when you're die cutting these. So there will be something at the end of the last video of this series, but I will make a separate one too, if it's better to stamp first and then die cut, or vice versa, and how I'm doing it. So stay tuned for those. All right, but let's get going. So this is card number 1. If you are one of my customers that's joining the card making class, you have these sets already in front of you, and you want to pull them out carefully because they have all these little bits and pieces in here, and you don't want to lose any. So yours is stamped already, and I will go into stamping in a second. So mainly we're using for this card Espresso Ink and shortbread, and the stamp sets that I used beside this one is the one from the card making kit. I also use this one here, which is, I think, still available. It's D2051 Perfectly Imperfect Patterns. That was in the last idea book featured, and it was one of my favorites. And this little thing creates these little dots, so you don't have to worry about, oh my god, what am I gonna do? And then these splatters, which are just in the background slightly on the card, and I stamped them with shortbread. It's from the current Background Elements stamp set. It's D2123. And if you missed out on that one, or you decide, so this is the new one, and this is a great one to have. You can do so much with them. You see the polka dots, the lines, you have these for borders. These splashes we will be used in other projects, so this is really a great set to have. And for the inside, we just featured the stamp. It's called Smile Big, and you might still get it. It's D2063. It's from our Operation Smile support. And if you can't get this one anymore, the current new one looks like this. Nope, wait, I take this back. The new one that's coming is already out, but this one is still available, and it will until supplies last. So this one is the current one. If you want to look at it, that's D2063, and it's just got really great phrases on them. And with the purchase of this set, $7 will go to Operation Smile, and you can find everything and for information about this great organization on the back of the catalog or online on our website. All right, so let's get going. So as you can see, I already stamped, and let me show you a quick trick when it comes to stamping. So as you can see here, this is like a sheets, just some scrap paper that I have from printing, and I always keep them. And I have a big sheet of the foam that comes in every of our pouches here for stamping, and I just put them underneath, keep them together. And this is my set to test things out, especially if the stamp set is new. I like to run a test. So this is the phrase that is used on the outside of the card right here. And what I like to do, so if it's new, you're just gonna rub it on your skin a little bit or clean it with your chamois. And then I like to ink it up, and I just stamp it a couple times until I see that, you know, the ink is everywhere on the piece and you can clearly read everything without having pieces missing of your stamp. And let me just switch over to a different paper so you can see it better. Let's use the back side here. Okay. So when you ink up, what you want to do, you don't want to push hard into your stamp pad, because it doesn't matter how hard you push, you don't get more ink on it. What you want to do is tap, tap, maybe twist a little bit, and then you go down straight on your project, and you go hold it for a couple of seconds, little pressure, and then you go straight back up. In this case, this stamp fits perfectly on my block. So the likelihood that I get smudged edges, it's very minimal. But what you want to do before you, if you have a bigger block, let's say, let's switch this out for a second. So let's say we peel this off, and you always want to peel them off carefully. And I'm just going to use my big stamp here. Let me see, I have another one here. Let's put this on this one here. So you see that you have a lot more room. What happens sometimes when you stamp, you kind of wiggle and you get ink on the edges. So this is when people do, like, you know, do this, and now all of a sudden, I don't know if you can see this, but there's ink on these corners. And if you don't stamp carefully, like I told you to, just go down and you rock a little bit. See what happens? You have a big frame around it. So to prevent this from happening, number one, always try to size your stamp to the block. And if you have to use a bigger one, make sure you do the tap, tap, tap and twist a little bit. Then you take your chamois or any other wipe and make sure you clean your corners so there's no ink there. And then you go straight down, you hold it for a couple seconds, try not to rock it, and then you go straight up. All right, so this is the easiest way to get your stamping done, and especially when you're trying for the first time, try to you know, test it out on a piece of scrap paper before you go on your card base. And here we have our inside. So I stamped the flowers again one more time on the inside just to decorate. And then we have all these little pieces. These are from the new crisp air paper. These are the back side of this one. So excuse me. So when you get them and you say, hey Claudia, I don't find my pieces, try to flip them around, because that's what likelihood happened, as they're just flipped around. So here's the other ones. And when you look at them, they're not fully an inch by inch. What they are, actually, they're an inch by 3/4 and or 7/8. I have to look it up in the description. And what I want to do is I'm gonna start lining them up, and I actually gonna use my liquid adhesive because it gives me a little bit easier wiggle room. So you start in a corner, and in which way you arrange those squares is up to you. You just want to make sure the little bit shorter edge, so the 1 inch is on the top and bottom and the shorter is on the sides, and you're just gonna line it up so you have a nice even frame around here. And then I take the top one and I do the same. I line it up here so we have about the same distance like the other one is. And then we're gonna fit in the other two in between. And the reason why I'm doing this way, it makes it easier to space them out, and it's more evenly, because we're eyeballing here. We're not, you know, measuring. You can take your tape measure and your ruler and whatever you prefer, but I'm just eyeballing it. So that might be off a little bit, but that's okay. Alrighty, so here's the other one. And then we put the other squares on here. And I just try to space them evenly. And we fill in the gaps. One more. There you go. Then we take our thin frame. If you have these holes not open, just poke the cut pieces out. That might happen. And you can put this on any way you want. So you can put it on this way, you can flip it around, put the bigger part on the bottom, which looks nice. You can do it sideways if you wanted to. This is up to you. Let's try this one and just do it sideways, because if you see here, I have the bigger part on the top, the smaller one on the bottom. And now we just can reverse it here and do it the other way. And this is such a delicate frame, so I'm just gonna put on a little bit adhesive here. Doesn't really need a lot. Doesn't have to hold up a lot. If you happen to have tweezers, that's the perfect time to pull them out, so we can easily put it down here. There we go. Okay, and then we have our little flower. So this one should be just white and stamped in black, or in this case espresso actually. And I just used a couple of pencils, and there's our coloring pencils. You can use watercolors, you can use our inks or watercolors, whatever markers you have to color those in. And then we're gonna place it down below here, but this one is raised. So let's get some foam. Just put a couple foam pieces on here. Doesn't need a lot either. And remove the backing. And then we place it on our card. And again, it's up to you how you position them and where you position them. I will put this one here, right here. And then we have these little sequins. And like I always like to do with those, I just put my little adhesive dot where my sequence is going to go. There's one, there's two, there's three. And then if you happen to have our great tool, picker upper tool, which is a waxy like a pencil shape. It normally is like double the length. I cut mine in half. You sharpen it with just a regular pencil sharpener, and it's got a waxy surface, and once it starts to stop being sticky, you just sharpen it again a little bit. And I just let them drop on here, and you can see it picks it up nicely. And I try not to push the whole thing down with my pencil, because then the adhesive might squirt out and get on my pencil, my wax pencil, and I don't really want that. So here we have it. Now we have to put the little black lines. I'm sorry. Got a rough voice this morning here. Okay. And I just crossed them over a few times. And that's all freehanded. I know that's scary for some people. Just give it a try. If you're insecure and you don't want to mess it up, use a pencil. A plain Jane gray pencil, and then you can either follow over with your black marker, or you just leave the gray. That's fine too. Here we go. And there you have it. Inside, I just used another pencil to make the little lines and a couple hearts. And here is your card number 1, all ready to go. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I see you back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.